east is east, and west is west, and never the twain shall meet. So wrote Rudyard Kipling over 100 years ago. Over 2,000 years ago, however, there is a strange tale to tell that just maybe proves him wrong. In the 1st century BCE, the mighty Roman Empire was one of the largest and fastest growing empires in the world. Figures like Caesar and Pompey, Octavian and Mark Antony dominated the empire, and it seemed as though its growth would be unstoppable. In 53 BCE, a Roman army was dispatched under Marcus Licinius Crassus. He was the vanquisher of Spartacus, he was the richest man in Rome, and he was attempting to extend Roman power into Parthia, which is modern-day Iran. He got as far as modern-day Haran in southeast Turkey before he was met by a Parthian army. Confident in his military genius and in the quality of his troops, Crassus pushed forward, thinking victory would be easy against what he saw as inferior barbarians. But he was sadly mistaken. The Parthians were an efficient, semi-professional army, and their horse archers were the best the world had ever seen. In a slaughter known as the Battle of Carrhae, the Romans lost nearly their entire army, and Crassus himself was killed. The remaining 10,000 or so Roman legionaries were captured. Now, the Parthians had a standard practice of employing captured soldiers as border guards. By transferring the 10,000 legionaries to the eastern borders, they prevented any realistic chance of escape for the Romans, who likely would have simply accepted their new lot in life. Records of the soldiers vanish for about 17 years, until the Battle of Gigi, which was fought between a Chinese army under Chen Tang and the Parthians. This battle was located in what is today Kazakhstan, near the border of Kyrgyzstan. Chinese historians noted that the defenders held their shields in a fish scale pattern. The fight for the town was intense, but the Chinese prevailed. The Chinese under the Han dynasty at this point were at the height of their power, and this battle represented their greatest westward expansion. The Chinese were so impressed by these foreign warriors and their fish scale defense that they put them to work in another border town, this time guarding the border between China and Tibet, as Tibetan raids were not uncommon. Anywhere from 100 to 1,000 or more soldiers established themselves in this town that was known by the Chinese as Legion. The men of Legion were known to use Western techniques such as using tree trunk counterweights for construction and to reinforce the area into a square fort. This was very common in the Mediterranean, but quite rare in Asia. It seems that these Romans lived peacefully in Legion, and 2,000 years later we have DNA evidence that over 50% of the villagers in modern-day Legion have Caucasian ancestry, including blue and green eyes, an increased average height, and other distinguishing characteristics such as distinctly Roman noses. The people in the small village are aware of and proud of their ancestry, celebrating the Romans and showing a fond interest in bulls, a heavily worshipped animal among Roman legionaries. A great many modern historians absolutely dismiss the story of legionaries in China as more of a fairy tale than truth, although some prominent historians still argue that this sequence of events is quite possible and even the most probable of theories. Just because it is hard to believe a tale does not make it at all untrue. In every reference from the Asian sources, the foreigners appear to be none other than the 10,000 legionaries captured at Carrhae. The only gap in knowledge is that the Romans transferred from Parthian control to Mongol control as the Mongols held the town at the Battle of Gigi. It seems that the Romans were captured and transported again, or that most likely they were sold as mercenaries. The only remaining evidence needed to authenticate the story would be Roman coins or other artifacts at Legion. If the story is true, it is an amazing story of tragic loss, followed by a strict adherence to professional soldiery and discipline.